Gotta fucking shave, holy shit. Normally when it comes to 31 Nights, I tend to review films that lean more towards the dark thriller slash horror sides typically. You know, as what you would expect around with these Halloween movies. However, I decided to review a film that, while leans more towards lightheartedness, still remains in the realm of Halloween. It's The Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is a Peanuts Halloween special that aired in 1996 based on the comic strip by Charles Schulz, with him having worked on the special. The cast includes the voices of Peter Robbins, Christopher Shee, Sally Dryer, among others. It ran annually every Halloween until the super friendly, super nice, definitely not money grubbing, greedy capitalistic nutbags at Apple acquire the rights to it, and now you have to pay for Apple Plus to see it. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Let's get into the review. It's The Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown. It centers around the kids of the Peanuts town, wherever it takes place. And, they're just getting ready for Halloween, getting their sugar glazed tongues, ready for another round of dental cavities. Except for one person. Aside from Snoopy, who is World War I flying ace, so he has better things to do than, go trick-or-treating, Linus has convinced himself that if he stays in the pumpkin patch long enough on Halloween night, then a giant pumpkin will appear in the patch and, I don't know, bring him toys or some shit. I don't know how it's supposed to work, but it apparently makes sense to Linus. But what's funny is, it doesn't make sense to the other characters either. They literally try to tell him, oh, Linus, nothing is going to show up. Come with us with trick-or-treating. You're being a fucking blockhead. But regardless, Linus still sticks with the story. Even when no pumpkin comes, he still convinces himself that maybe he'll come back the next year if he stays long enough. He literally never learns his lesson. He still plans to go back the very next year. He had other, classic peanut gags, with Charlie Brown and the football, Sally's, infatuation with Linus, even though Linus either doesn't really care for it or rejects her advances. And even Lucy's snarkiness, which I've come to love in terms of its, humor and whatnot. Other than that, this story's just a fun little Peanuts ride for the whole family. Nothing too serious about it. It's just literally just kids, going out trick-or-treating, having a good time. I give the premise a B+. Now let's go on to humor. Like I said, the funniest part about all this is how convinced Linus is that he's going to see this fucking pumpkin. Even though, has he ever seen the pumpkin? Is the Great Pumpkin an actual existing character in the fucking Peanuts universe? And I'm gonna go into a little bit of the spoilers. Okay, I've already feel like I might have spoiled it already, but spoilers here definitely. The Great Pumpkin, at the end, that Linus goes oh my gosh, it's a Great Pumpkin, oh my god, but guess who it turns out to be? It turns out to be fucking Snoopy. Linus can't recognize his own dog. He sees that Snoopy. We can see that it's fucking Snoopy clearly, but he's convinced that it's a Great Pumpkin still, and he faints. That's the best part. He faints because there's just of how much he's convinced that he's seeing the Great Pumpkin. Some other funny aspects of the special, such as how Charlie Brown managed to mess up his costume. How do you manage with all those to end up with all those holes? What the fuck was he doing? Maybe that's why he kept getting rocked, because the neighbors fucking saw his costume and they were like, damn, this guy's got rocks in his head and shit. But yeah, I give humor an A. A lot of it does really hold up even today. So now we're discussing the voice work. And of course, obviously, Peter Robbins is iconic as, Charlie Brown. I mean, there's a reason why he has been chosen to voice him for such a long time. Like, because his voice just fits him, His voice, like, I literally can't think of anyone else playing him other than Peter Robbins, I also gotta give kudos to Sally Dreyer's performance as Lucy, because she was just such a bitch and so mean, but that's part of what made her funny. Like, the delivery with Lucy's lines, especially with there were 2 lists, Charlie Brown, one to invite, one not to invite. You were most likely put on the wrong list. That is such a horrible thing to say to especially your friend, but got low on space there. Gonna have to clear some up. But the way Sally Dreyer delivered the line just worked, because she delivered it in the most unemotional way possible. Like, Lucy does not care if she offends Charlie Brown with that. She just says what's on her mind. Now I'm going to discuss animation. I won't discuss much since, I don't really think there's much to say other than this does look pretty impressive, especially for something that came out in the 60s. Usually, stuff from the 60s, like, it'll, like, appear kind of choppy. Like, you can see, like, areas where, like, I don't know, like, the animation just seems kind of jittery. That wasn't the case here. Like, the animation here was very smooth. The characters, like, they, like, moved very flawlessly. There wasn't any of that jump you get with some stuff from the animated stuff from the 60s. So I'm gonna give animation a B+. Lastly, let's discuss direction. Bill Melendez worked on direction of this, who also actually provided the voice of Snoopy in this as well. And under his direction, he did create a genuinely fun story that you could get into, that both kids and adults could get into. I feel like kids will relate to the parts, with their trick-or-treating, because it's the biggest symbol of childhood innocence, I think. Just going out and, like, laugh and have a good time and just acquiring as much candy as you can. That is childhood innocence right there. And I feel like adults will enjoy that because it'll give them a chance to look back at how they spent their own Halloween back then. I give direction a B+. Bill Melendez just created a very innocent story that, you don't have to take too seriously. You just pop in and laugh and have a good time along with it, Overall, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown is a nice, fun little film that I highly suggest you watch every Halloween, because it really captures the spirit of it, that, like I said, that childhood innocence of it, that, and the jokes will always be funny, in my opinion. Like, there's still people making cultural references to it. There's still, like, you can still, like, see people, like, making little nods to it in, like, cartoons and whatnot. Like, it still honestly holds up today. So I'll give It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown an A. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.